warm welcome, Yummy. I'm very excited for this one, Jake. We've got a really good series on our hand, but as we've mentioned so many times, it's up to Riot Gaming to start off on the right foot.
Yeah, Ground Zero are always an exciting team to watch. Like Renegades, even if they're stomping a team, they do it in pretty awesome fashion. So, you know, definitely hoping that Riot Gaming can take it to them, definitely keep them out of their half, not be too defensive, but yeah, we'll have to see. The starting game could show us a lot about the rest of this series.
I hope they don't double commit like they just did there. A little bit of a scary scenario for Riot Gaming, but you know, it's game one. They may not have necessarily gotten a warm-up. Apparently Renegades did, and that's part of the reason they came into this one so hot. But maybe these two teams are going to need this first game to warm up. 30 seconds into it, a little bit of back and forth here, a little bit of chaos. Maybe Riot Gaming can take advantage of that. For a team that likes to explode out of nowhere, this might be their best scenario.
Yeah, you can already see the difference in this series. Ground Zero, they are getting pressured. They are in their half and kind of giving space for Riot Gaming to make a play. We saw Renegades give hardly any of that to Direwolves, so it's really great signs to see Riot Gaming. They will have those opportunities. It's just whether they can capitalize on it because those opportunities don't last long.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the last game as well. Capitalizing upon the minor mistakes is a lot of what separates teams, and I would say for Riot Gaming, it's going to be what separates them from Ground Zero here. Ground Zero don't make a lot of mistakes. You make a mistake against them, they'll probably punish. Similarly, though, if you do see, oh no, Ground Zero make a mistake, you've got to punish. That was one of those times they needed to punish.
Yeah, it's just, like we said, those opportunities are small. Tango misses, and then maybe in ranked, if you're playing, your teammate will be able to follow up and score, but you can see Ground Zero, they're fast on the rotations, and boy, Riot Gaming, they might be kicking themselves because it'd be great to go one up, especially with their playstyle, but Express actually opening up the scoring with a nice shot from the side.
Oh boy, and that's not what Riot were looking for there. It is a beautiful shot. Can't disagree with you at all, as the angle is so wide and so slim to hit that one. So very well done. They're up by one here with just underneath 2 minutes gone. But again, it wasn't up to Ground Zero to score first. We needed Riot if they wanted a chance here.
Yeah, and you've heard Express talk about his team. He tries to just sit back and let Anthus, let Torsos do their things. But you can see Express, he's very quick, very clinical, and able to get those goals in as well when his teammates are having a bit more of a quiet day.
So far here, though, not a lot of quiet stuff out of Ground Zero. It took them a second to get the offense together, but now that they have arrived, oh boy, have they arrived. 2-0 Ground Zero.
Yeah, it's off the back of Express again. Just a nice 50. Riot Gaming, they got to feel a bit unlucky how that bounce kind of going back into their goal, but Ground Zero seeing that coming, getting on the scoreboard, and it's going to be hard for Riot Gaming being 2-0 down.
Oh boy, yeah, this is not the position that Riot Gaming were looking for here. Finn, though, gets the flip reset off the kickoff. That would have been massive for him had he been able to get, well, not necessarily an equalizer, but cut the lead in half there. So far, though, Riot Gaming, aside from that first minute of offense, we really haven't seen any other offense out of them, Jake.
No, it has been back to, Ground Zero just kind of dominating. You can see Riot Gaming, they don't have boost. They're just kind of stuck, and Ground Zero rotating very cleanly and not giving the ball off them. But actually, there you go. Right, Ground Zero, they do have those gaps in the rotation, and Riot Gaming can make the most of them.
I mean, it's very possible here. If anybody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be Riot. They're a capable team, and if they can take advantage of the little bit of awkwardness in this warm-up period here in Game 1, they've got a shot, but as it stands right now, not a really great one. They've got 2 minutes left to try and just get that first goal, and then they can deal with the second one, but so far, they also need to just deal with getting an offense together here. Back out to midfield one more time, where Torsos is trying to get around Finn, but apparently cannot. Finn just going to play an absolute nuisance there and just continue to put the pressure on. But isn't going to lead to a goal here. Riot Gaming, again, looking for offensive pressure, but have not found a lot of it.
No, but they're doing a great job of keeping it here. Not very threatening, but actually Kaka getting a nice shot. You can see Ground Zero, they're starting to get a bit outpaced, and it is looking a bit dangerous. Ground Zero still backing each other up and not letting a goal in yet.
They're doing a really good job of just keeping that constant rotation. The trio doing a good job of just kind of narrowing those gaps. There are a couple of them, like we've mentioned. Riot have had a couple opportunities, but they're few and far between. And if they do arrive, there's someone who's going to slot in to fill in said gap rather quickly. So I got to give it to Ground Zero. They look like Ground Zero right now, and, well, that doesn't bode well for Riot.
No, and then we haven't even really seen Anthus or Torsos do any big plays yet. It's been Express mostly making these goals happen. You can see there again getting a nice shot. This one's saved. But again, the pressure just continues, but Torsos actually missing an open net. A little uncharacteristic from him.
CJ apparently can hit nets today, so he's just kind of passed the torch on to Torsos, or excuse me, I believe it was Amphis at that point. Really, to be honest, it's both of them now, because Amphis probably should have at least put a shot on target there. Ground Zero looking a little bit shaky here when it comes to their shooting. Defense has been phenomenal, but apparently the only person who can put a shot on target is Express.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they've never really been known as a very quick starter in a series. They do normally warm up. Like Yummy said, they're great at adapting mid-series as well. So they're going to be feeling great. They still got the win. They might not be playing their best, but we can expect them to keep getting better and better as the series goes on.
And again, it wasn't about them really starting off with the best possible foot. It was about can Riot Gaming do that, because we knew that Ground Zero were going to play pretty consistently. I mean, this isn't a bad game from them by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the fact that they didn't necessarily pop off like we were expecting. So that should have been a sign for Riot Gaming to really just turn on the boosters and get themselves a win here. Fortunately, not quite able to do so. They will look for a goal to keep this one up, but no such luck. Ground Zero doing Ground Zero things, take a shutout victory in game 1.
I like how Riot Gaming approached that, though. They did hold pressure. They were trying to use those mechanics, and they had a few chances, especially that Tango open net miss was a massive one, but they had opportunities. Ground Zero didn't lock out Riot nearly as much as we saw Renegades lock out Direwolves, so I think Riot Gaming could definitely put some games on the board if their mechanics are just a little bit sharper.
I would agree 100% here. I feel like they're really in this series. They're just not necessarily in the win. And that's a very distinct difference here. Ground Zero definitely looking capable and looking like the better team, but Riot just need that little edge and they'll be right back into this one. I'm interested, Jake, from your perspective, what do Riot need to do if they want to change this one up? Because it felt like both their offense and defense needed a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah, this is like a really tough situation for teams, because I don't think anything was particularly strategically wrong, right? They didn't hit their shots. The mechanics they went for just weren't clean enough. We had Express hitting that great shot in the top corner, and yeah, I just think they have to execute their game plan a little bit better. We had Ground Zero rotating a little awkwardly in defense, so there's places to capitalize, and I think they're on the right track.
I mean, we've been talking about this all day. We're probably going to talk about this all season. The thing that separates a lot of these teams from the top of the region is consistency, and that's something we're missing right now out of Riot. Yes, they're playing decent, but they need to play a little bit more consistent if they want to take down Ground Zero.
No, this is just like the perfect example of how Ground Zero was so dominant last year, because they're not looking their best. It's game 1. Torsos missed an open net. Amphis hasn't done anything amazingly pop-offing yet. But they won, and they won comfortably, 2-0. And Riot, it just, we saw it on the first day that they struggled. They just scraped in that final round of 5, and they don't quite have this consistency that you can see that comes out of Ground Zero.
And the other thing they don't really seem to have as much is that competitive drive here. Ground Zero came into this one with one thing and one thing only. They wanted to get to the finals, get a shot at Renegades, and finally get that match that they had been waiting for quite literally months. And, well, they're one game closer to doing that. Jake, let's see if they can get to that final, though.
Yeah, I think that, like we said, that they're definitely backing themselves to get there. They would be incredibly surprised if they were to lose to Riot Gaming here. And we have seen some overconfidence issues coming out of Ground Zero, but right now they're just looking very solid.
They look incredibly solid.
Whoa.
The only thing they... Oh, okay, well, maybe not the best time for us to call them solid. Caster Curse had to show its face at some point here today. But I was going to say, the best way to really try to get this momentum in their favor, I would say, is get a goal out of Torsos or out of Amphis here. Give them that necessary confidence, because once they find that, oh my word, will they be a threatening team.
You can see that was an amazing opportunity, but Kaka just not able to hit it as hard as maybe you'd expect him to, and definitely what you need to get it past Ground Zero.
Yeah, Riot Gaming need to start taking advantage of this little bit of awkwardness on the defense of Ground Zero. Like we said, Ground Zero playing well, just not necessarily peaking like they need to if they want to try and take down Riot Gaming. But at the same time, Riot Gaming not really peaking like they need to if they want to take down Ground Zero. So it's about who starts to pop off first. We're expecting it out of Ground Zero at this point. The question is whether or not Riot Gaming can start to do it as well.
Yeah, so Riot Gaming, I mean, they started this game out really strong, pretty much spent the entire first minute of the game in Ground Zero's half, but it already feels like Ground Zero that little bit more threatening. You can just see how fast they're attacking the ball and how fast these shots are coming on net.
That's what makes them so threatening, is that 0 to 100, like you said, that just sort of out of nowhere shot. Speaking of out of nowhere shots, where on earth did this come from? Riot Gaming finally taking the lead.
And just beautiful pass there. Finn getting the demo, sticking around and just getting perfectly sniped. And that's the kind of speed you need. Ground Zero, they weren't able to pull out their mechanics to make that crazy last minute save. They just had no room to counterplay.
That's fantastic for Riot Gaming, finally giving themselves that necessary momentum, finally giving themselves that necessary goal, and they find another one. No, Finn not quite able to get past Torsauce here, but they will keep the offense alive. Taka, though, a little bit too far pushed up here, and this could come back to bite them, because now Amphis with time and space, not able to touch the ball. Torsauce will take it away from them and still get an offense together. Express not quite able to link up, but Ground Zero, it's not good if Amphis is missing the ball here. You need every player on point, because Riot Gaming's starting to look like it.
Yeah, struggling a little bit. I'm keen to see how Riot Gaming respond now that they have the lead. Will they kind of sit back, let Ground Zero play into them, or will they push forward and make that defense through the offense kind of play?
Gonna have to find out halfway through game number 2 here. Both teams definitely looking a lot more informed than in game number 1, but it's Ground Zero who still need to find that offensive pressure. They spent a lot of time on their own half so far here, and they're doing it again as one more offense builds for Riot Gaming. Not really quite able to do much with this one, though, so instead it's Finn just desperation touch out at midfield. Torsauce, though, luckily enough, will be able to capture this one as it goes back out, and Amphis needs to take a shot! Side flips on that one, and oh boy, Amphis really having a bit of an off day right now.
Yeah, it was beautifully set up from Torsauce. Again, they look so threatening in the midfield, setting up that play. Again, that's another great open space from Torsauce there, and maybe a more confident Ground Zero would be ready to attack that, but we're just not seeing it. A little awkward in the offense.
This is kind of surprising here for a number of reasons. One, because of the fact that we talk about how Ground Zero is one of those teams that are so consistent, it's surprising to see any inconsistency out of any of the players. But two, this also makes me think ahead. If Ground Zero do end up taking the series, which at this point it very much doesn't look like it's a guarantee, but if they take this one, do Renegades have a better shot here? I mean, Renegades have been waiting for this opportunity. This very well could be the one.
Yeah, and here looks like another opportunity. Tango actually going to take it. So 2-0 up now, and Riot Gaming really showing the holes in Ground Zero's playstyle.
They very much are, and they're accentuating them tenfold, and with only about 100 seconds left, it's up to Ground Zero to try and turn this one around. That's a sentence I did not expect. I expected Riot Gaming, like we said, to take a couple of wins here, really make this a competitive match. I never expected them to make it seem like Ground Zero just weren't in the game, though. This one feels entirely in favor of Riot Gaming.
Well, especially coming off that last series, just Renegades absolutely dominating Direwolves. That was expected to be closer than this series, but Riot Gaming playing really well, and Ground Zero just not looking like themselves just yet.
Just don't seem to have that punch, and for a team that really does love that punch, those sort of out-of-nowhere goals, it's rather surprising. So 70 seconds left into this one. Riot Gaming looking to hold on to a shutout. Oh, but Ground Zero, you actually have a chance here. No boost in the tank, so Torsauce instead will have to take the shot. And that's all that they get. Express out on the side will keep the offense alive here, but that's a bit surprising. You expect them to start some sort of offensive pressure here. Instead, they get trapped in the corner, and now it's just another lackluster offense.
Yeah, and we have heard Torsauce was saying the most annoying player to play in the region at the moment is Tango, just frustrated by this team's defense. So maybe they do have Ground Zero's number a little bit in how to counteract their aggressive playstyle.
I mean, everybody was calling Riot Gaming the dark horse here. Literally, I think every single team in the top 4 had at minimum one player, if not the entire team, saying that Riot Gaming was the dark horse. So maybe the dark horse has intimidated Ground Zero a little bit here, and that's not a team that you want to see intimidating. If Ground Zero are scared from Riot Gaming, the rest of the region better be too.
Yeah, and you can see why. The first game, very Ground Zero favored, but this one, it's been all Riot Gaming. Ground Zero, they've had a few chances. We had Amphis with that miss, but overall, this was a very solid Riot Gaming win. And it looks like they're even going to extend it to 3-0 just off nice pressure play.
This is wild. Beyond anything that I could have imagined here. The fact of the matter is that Ground Zero just double committed on a defensive play while also not getting a good clear. The two of those combined make me a bit worried. That is not something we normally see out of Ground Zero.
No, Ground Zero normally a lot more solid, but again, they do generally warm up into the series. Ground Zero aren't really the team you think about 4-0ing. Very comfortably normally win 4-1, 4-2, but Riot looking very strong and showing why these top teams are respecting them so much.
They look phenomenal right now. I've got nothing but compliments for Riot Gaming. So, I mean, listen, hey, this is the series we were hoping for. A good back and forth. Let's just hope that we start to get back to that back and forth mentality, though. Them trading off games is okay, but when it's this dominant, Riot with a total of 11 shots in comparison to the Ground Zero 5, it's a little bit more one-sided than I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you don't see that. You really don't. And it just felt like Ground Zero, again, was looking a bit off, looking like their rotations weren't super clean in offense. They were giving away space. You can see no one's attacking that ball from Ground Zero. It's just not what we're used to seeing.
It's very, very odd. And, well, I gotta wonder if there's a reason behind it. Maybe Ground Zero are trying to play with a bit of a different strategy. Like we said, the defense of Riot has been a frustration for everybody in OCE for a little while, so maybe they're trying to figure out a way to counter it. So far, they haven't necessarily been able to do so. They took game 1 pretty handily, but as soon as Riot Gaming started getting a little bit more into this one, it got out of hand very quick.
Yeah, well, you also have to think, are Ground Zero starting to get a bit overconfident in the region? You know, we heard that they haven't scrimmed Renegades in months. Not sure which team is leading that just yet. Might be able to hear from it later. And they really haven't been showing up for these off-season tournaments either. So Riot Gaming, complete opposite. They're hungry, they're brand new, plenty of energy, and improving pretty fast.
I'm very interested to see what this third game looks like here, because if Riot Gaming can continue with that momentum, all of a sudden, we've got a Ground Zero that's actually going to make me a little bit nervous. But for right now, I'm not going to think about that in the back of my mind. I'm just going to say it was a fluke game and say that, ooh, Ground Zero will get back into this one. Not if Riot Gaming start going for plays like that. I like the creativity on that offense.
I really liked it as well. I don't think his teammate was quite expecting it either, because he gets the pass, follows it up with the demo, but just wasn't meant to be there, but certainly scary for later on.
This is awesome. I love this. Riot Gaming really exceeding the expectations right now. We thought they would do well, but we did not think they would make Ground Zero look this uncomfortable. Last second save from Torsos, and not many players can force that player into that position. Fantastic from Riot Gaming. They've given us a heck of a series here. Let's see how it turns out as we get into game number 3. And shots like that are already ringing off. This confidence shake, this is something else.
Oh, it's just awesome. And then Tango missing that final shot to place it in. I'm just worried if Riot Gaming can't score those. But here's another chance, Express actually getting there quick enough. But you'd have to give the advantage to Riot Gaming in this game.
I would say so. They honestly look like they've kept the momentum from game number 2, are starting to run with a very different offense overall. And also, look at the space they are being given. Ground Zero, you guys should not be giving them this much space. If the team was able to shut you out in the last one and have proven that they've got offensive efficiency, it's time to get into their face. Similarly, though, Riot Gaming might have needed to do the same. Amphis with plenty of space and drills this into the back of the net.
Yeah, beautiful demo there from Torsos, just never thinking once of going for the ball. And Amphis just placing that powerfully top corner. And, you know, we're saying how great Riot Gaming were playing, but here we are with Ground Zero starting off the scoring.
And every once in a while, that's all that it takes, is just get that one goal, and all of a sudden you get that spark of life that reinvigorates a team, and they all of a sudden go back into form. Maybe that's what it is here for Ground Zero. And I would say, if any player is going to, I was going to say return to form, it would need to be Amphis. Apparently, they haven't done it quite yet, because Riot Gaming have the equalizer.
Yeah, again, you can see just so much space. We were just complimenting the demos, but Express kind of driving around in demos for defense, and, you know, Riot Gaming just punishing. And Ground Zero, that's disappointing. They got that lead, they worked really hard for it, and now it's just slipped away.
I just gotta imagine that the mentality of the team is a little bit deflated after that. You work so hard, you go 5 minutes without a goal in game number 2, and then all of a sudden in game 3, you get that goal, and then immediately it is a race. You also give up another goal and then go down in a deficit. So Ground Zero, now is the time to try and show that mental fortitude that we talked about. You guys have experience. It's the time now to show it.
I'm so sad. Riot Gaming, they had another opportunity there. They're just really struggling to get that final powerful shot, and it's certainly difficult, but if they had that mechanic in their arsenal, they could even be 2-0 up right now.
Oh, absolutely. The unfortunate truth is, though, it's never going to be that easy. Not against a team like Ground Zero. They're not going to give you an easy path to victory, and they are showing exactly why.
Yeah, and here's just the difference, right? You just see Torsos, he has the chance, and he just places it perfectly top corner, beats the defenders out, and gets that lead back for him.
Fantastic play from Ground Zero, and this is why we were so surprised by game 2. I know you guys at home are probably like, why are they bagging on Ground Zero so hard in game 2? Well, because we're expecting this. This is what they do. They're top of the region, and for a reason. And now Riot Gaming are starting to really feel the pressure of the top dogs here. Oh my word, Torsos almost able to stunt.
Yeah, you can see Torsos starting to wake up into the series, getting some nice mechanics, getting that goal from before. And man, we've seen this before, and Torsos almost getting another chance there. But Ground Zero, you can see they definitely warm up, especially mechanically.
Yeah, we were a little bit surprised in Game 2 to see them not really show any improvements from Game 1. Now in Game 3, though, they seem to have recognized where the issues were and have cleaned them up rather thoroughly. So I'm impressed. Ground Zero, a very good turnaround. Oh boy, maybe I should... No way. No way. That just happened.
That looked like they were trying to defend that goal. What even happened there?
You're asking me. Aren't you the guy who used to be a pro here? How are you asking me what happened there? That makes no sense. I don't know. Riot Gaming, though, apparently don't want to win this one. They have 100 seconds left to prove me wrong, but that's going to make me scratch my head for probably the next, 3 weeks straight.
No, I think it sometimes happens, especially in big games. They just lacking that confidence to finish it themselves and overthinking it, trying to pass the teammates, and they just got utterly confused. And Ground Zero, there's only a minute left, and Riot Gaming, they're really going to be kicking themselves if they can't get one. But there's a pre-jump, and again, no power. They're making such great opportunities, but they can't finish them.
That's the big thing here, is they are getting this offensive pressure, but when it comes time for them to put a solid shot on target, they haven't really found a lot. And, well, you can see what happened on the last time they were close to getting a solid shot. They unfortunately botched it. And now with only about a minute left, they probably aren't going to get many more chances here. Finn, though, launches one into the backboard where Amphis is waiting. As we do see the dive from Tango, it means... Oh, wait, not Tango. Kaka, excuse me. It means Tango out at midfield will be able to keep this into the half. And Riot Gaming now starting to put on that slow burn. They're going to start boost stealing, start trying to just kind of put the pressure on. And if they can find one more solid shot before the end of regulation, there is a chance at overtime.
Yeah, you can see Express a bit awkward and a bit slow to come out because of it. Here comes a shot. It's not powerful again. And Riot Gaming making so many chances. But with 20 seconds, they need to put one of them home.
Just need to have that powerful enough shot, that lethal shot that just drills into the back of the net. Oh, could this be the one? No, off the backboard. Kaka a little bit off target here. When 10 seconds left, it's really crunch time. They're going to get probably one more offense together here, and it's going to start from a Kaka air dribble, which is 50-50 by Amphis. And speaking of air dribbles, 50-50, another one, but Tango wins this one at least a little bit better. Off the backboard, is there a shot? No! Kaka tries to contain that one, but unfortunately, Ground Zero just by the edge of their tongue there, able to take it.
I don't know what's happening to Riot. They're not missing open nets, right? But they're so... You expect these players to hit them most of the time, but they're just missing these semi-open nets time and time again. And it's not what you're expecting from the series. You know, we're expecting Ground Zero to confidently beat them, but Ground Zero kind of letting them take the game if they want it, but they're just not able to finish the goals to make it happen.
It's feeling like Championship Sunday is now really starting to wear on everybody. The nerves seem very high right now, and for Ground Zero, it's rather unexpected. For Riot, it's a little bit more, but I would have thought that the nerves would have showed up in Games 1 and 2. We're here in Game 3, and the teams are still playing a little bit inconsistent, and it's got me nervous because, again, Riot need to play this one with full confidence. You don't beat a team like Ground Zero unless you have full confidence in yourself.
Yeah, and I hope they keep up the energy because it's so disappointing when you're the underdog team and you feel like you had a game, it was so close and it just slipped out of your hand, because every game is so important and the swings are so massive. So it's just, I hope Riot can reset. I hope they can figure out what's stopping them from shooting these goals. They're just not confident what's going on, and it's exciting. I was expecting Ground Zero to pretty handily take this, but it's a very close series.
I do appreciate that as well. It is a very close series
here,
and oh boy. Yeah, we gotta look this
Tango.
back. Oh my.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish that we didn't have replays of that one so that these guys can never have to look at that again. Luckily enough, though, Riot do get another chance here. We're in game number 4, and Jake, I would say this is a pretty important one for Riot.
Yeah, you can't let Ground Zero get a match point, but not have to win three games against them to, claw your way back. It's always important in these games. Riot, they need to equalize this series, kind of make up for the mistakes of the last few games and get back to even.
100%. Well, it's up to Riot to do that now. Game number 4 underway here. It's Ground Zero versus Riot Gaming for that second spot in that grand final. Ground Zero, as we mentioned, obviously the favorites going into this one, but after a little bit of a shaky start, the door has been opened. Riot Gaming need to take advantage here and put themselves on the best foot forward.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Please tell me this doesn't just dribble in. All right, it's off target. But Riot, oh boy, playing with my heartstrings right now.
Yeah, it was definitely close, and it was one of those moments where Riot, they looked like they had a really good opportunity. They were getting bumps. Ground Zero was slow back, and I think both teams are lucky not to get scored on there, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. And, well, let's see if we can try and get a little bit more of an improved defense here. We're about a minute into this one. Neither team has been able to score. But, again, this open space is something... Oh, my word. I was going to talk about... Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this. What a pass and what a shot.
Yeah, and this is kind of the Ground Zero we kind of have seen before. Ampha's just randomly upfield. I don't think anyone else in the region would be up there at that time, but Express, he even knows he's there. He snipes his teammate perfectly, and that's the kind of goals Ground Zero can score and why they're so dangerous in offense.
And finally, we start to see Ground Zero display that sort of efficiency we were talking about. Chat, I promise you, we were not talking nonsense earlier. There is a reason that we've been hyping up Ground Zero this entire day. They are that good. Finally, it looks like they're going to be able to display that for you guys here in game number 4. With 3.5 minutes remaining, there is a chance for Riot to get back into this one. They just need that one spark of life. We've seen it before. This team, when they do get momentum, they really run with it.
Yeah, it feels like, again, right, Ground Zero, they've certainly... defending a bit more solidly, but again, you can see these small opportunities that they're really, if Riot Gaming were a little bit faster, hitting the ball a little bit harder, it could be a very different series.
Oh, 100%. But it's up to Riot to do that now, because with only about 3 minutes remaining and a deficit here in game number 4, it's all the more important for them to just find that spark of life. Like we said, if they go down in this game, I'm about ready to call the series. I don't know if Riot Gaming are capable of taking a gentleman's reverse sweep against Ground Zero. Heck, I don't know if any team is capable of doing that.
Yeah, especially, again, the deeper you get into the series, the better Ground Zero get, but... looking a little bit awkward. You can see Ground Zero, they're very pushed up forward. They're looking very confident. It gives Express this redirect opportunity. He doesn't hit it, but Torsos follows up, and this is the flowing kind of offense we're used to.
Oh my word, Ground Zero, you guys just continue to impress me once you do actually find that offense. Like you said, the flow here, just fantastic. Riot Gaming have got to try and find a way to slow them down.
And again, you can see the difference there. Torsos, he hits that backboard and he hits it with speed, fast, and in the top of the net. And that's just been the big difference maker here with Riot Gaming not being able to sink those home.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that we just need to see them finally start to sink some of these shots. Like you said, it's this offensive efficiency that we are lacking out of Riot here. They are getting chances, they are getting their offense together, but when it comes time for a solid shot, they just haven't been able to find it. And, well, another opportunity gone awry there. 2 players dive on that one, and now plenty of time and space for Ground Zero to send this one the other way. It's these short-lived stints as well. I feel like Riot are getting the chances, but it's in like 5-second intervals.
Yeah, they're very small chances, and you can also see once Ground Zero get a lead, they get so much more confident. They push themselves forward, and you can see back passes now. Express pushing forward, waiting for the pass, and they just look like a completely different team.
They really do look like a very different team right now, and oh my word, Ground Zero is starting to look like a very offensively based team overall. They're just putting on pressure after pressure, but they also need to sink the shots when it comes time. It's a little bit unfortunate there. Maybe they've now opened out the door for Riot Gaming to get something here. Not quite. Good 50-50. Tango up for this one. We'll get another 50-50, but where's the follow-up? Finn did not want to commit, and, well, normally I would be complimentary. I like the reservations here. With only 90 seconds left, though, you can't really start getting hesitant. It's time for Riot Gaming to throw everything they've got at Ground Zero.
Yeah, and this is where it kind of, their playstyle kind of hurts them, since they are that defensive team. They like to be a bit more relaxed, rely on their mechanics, but when you need 2 goals and the time is low, you need to start pushing forward and making plays happen that wouldn't normally be there.
That's a big thing, is that you really need to take those risks at a certain point. Risk evaluation is definitely a really important part of all of Rocket League. It's something that not a lot of people talk about, but it really is important. At a certain point, if you've tried all the fundamentals, the stuff we were talking about before, the standard gameplay, and it's not working, try something that the other team isn't really expecting, because at this point...
No.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. Most of what we've seen has been expected. That, yeah, no way. What?
Yeah, that is pretty damn unlucky, but it happens, and Ground Zero, they're making their own luck. They're pushing people forward. That's Torsos going in for a very aggressive challenge as third man and getting very rewarded for it.
I mean, hey, listen, that's not the team we were hoping to get aggressive, but at least they are showing some aggression there. Maybe Riot Gaming can take some notes. Apparently they don't need them. They've got their own, and they're executing with them pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, that was beautiful from Finn. I think that was the only real way he was going to score that. Express had it very well covered, and that's what they need. It might be a little too late, but it shows they have something in them.
They've got something in them. The question is whether or not that something in them is going to be able to propel them in the next couple games, because I would agree with you. I think it's a little bit late here in game number 4. They need 2 goals in just about half a minute, and I mean, it's possible. It's definitely a viable possibility. It's just not likely. So instead, let's see if they can keep this aggression going into the latter half of the series, because at this point, we're starting to look down the barrel here. I think Riot Gaming are going to fall to ground 0, but I'm always happy to be proven wrong here. Let's see if Riot Gaming can turn it around.
Yeah, definitely not in this game. It's just starting to wind down, and it's tough. Ground 0 there, again, looking better and better as the series goes on, and Riot Gaming just feels like they've really missed their chances when Ground 0 were giving it to them.
And that's the big thing, is that those chances really need to be capitalized upon for Riot Gaming here. We're starting to see Ground 0 return to form. They definitely look like the Ground 0 that we know and love. Now we need to see Riot turn into the Riot we know and love here. We need to see them get aggressive. We really need to see them get themselves into the series in terms of offense. I think their defense is looking actually pretty solid here. A couple occasional misses and some issues, but for the most part, I think it's offense where they really need to improve.
Yeah, their defense looks great, but again, great isn't good enough against Ground 0. You just no team has ever been able to shut out Ground 0 properly in a series, and you can just see even when they're scoring, Torsos will still score pinch goals just to make it that much worse. So Ground 0, you can see the stats there flowing back to their side, their favor, and Riot Gaming, I really just want to see them step up, play a bit faster, hit the shots a bit harder, and I think they have a good chance.
100%. I would agree. There's absolutely a possibility here of Riot Gaming extending the series, but it really is up to Riot to do that. Every once in a while, you see it where, oh, the other team is not necessarily on par, so maybe you can try and keep them a little bit more uncomfortable and accentuate that. We're not seeing that. Ground 0 started off the series a little slow. They have gone Mach 7 speeds from there on out. It is now up to Riot to try and match that. Try and play just as speedy, just as aggressive, and get in the face of Ground 0. We talked about this a lot, Jake. I really still do think that this open space and these open aerial challenges need to get a little bit more closely contested.
Yeah, it's just speed is everything in Rocket League. If you're getting outpaced in the midfield, it's just so difficult, and Riot Gaming still looking a little bit too reserved, maybe not used to just how quickly Ground 0 can play. But you can see there, very even 50, but Amphis just following up that much quicker than the second player.
Well, let's see if Riot Gaming can try and up the speed here in game number 5. If they do not, it's probably the end of this one. Ground 0 are on match point, and they're looking to try and close this one out effectively. I'd be pretty interested to see if, Ground 0 can finish this one out here, because then it becomes just a one game difference. Renegades take it in 4, Ground 0 take it in 5, and then you have a little bit of an edge going to Renegades, and then it gets a little spicy, but I'm thinking a little bit ahead of myself. We're 40 seconds into game number 5, and so far, I gotta give it to Riot. They're looking pretty comparable.
Yeah, I think they've really outweighed their expectations already in this series, just really bringing it to Ground 0. But I really want to see them push further now. Ground 0, they're starting to run away with it. They're feeling confident, but Riot Gaming, if they can push forward, we've seen those signs of life in them, and yeah, we just really want to see them hit their shots.
Yeah, that's the big thing here. We need to see them hit a solid shot. Trying to do that exactly there, but Finn not quite able to get it past the last defender, so instead it's Riot who will try and build this one out from mid.
I don't think that's
what
where
is
I was
going
meant
on
to
there? No, I don't think so. A little bit of an odd touch on the ceiling there, and Riot Gaming are going to lose their offense, and wait, what? What just happened? What is happening right now? This midfield presence, dude.
This is starting to look like a platinum game, but I'm sure they'll start to speed up soon and remember that, this is the RLCS semi-final.
Are you sure about that one? Well, let's find out. Let's see. Riot Gaming now going to try and settle us down a little bit here and get an offense together. Not quite able to do so, so instead it's sent the other way, where Amphis will try and carry this one through the air. Zero boost in the tank, though, and Finn can only get a 50-50. No follow-up, so instead it's up to Kaka, who's just going to pass it out to Amphis, who backflips, and oh boy, chaos really reigning supreme here in game number 5.
Yeah, both teams really sticking to this dribbling kind of style, getting it in the corner, just, it's generally what you see in lower levels of play, but these teams, you can make it work, you can follow those touches, and you can see a demo opens the field up, and Ground 0 open the scoring.
And there we go. That's the Ground Zero we know and love. They get a good demo, all of a sudden
Ooh.
capitalize upon said demo, and ooh, I didn't notice that. What a recovery out from midfield.
Very clean there from Amphis, holding down his power slide, working very quickly, because I think he even got bumped from his teammate as well there. So nice little mechanical goal there from Ground Zero.
Yeah, nice goal out of Ground Zero
but here's
there. And
that
that's it is! It's in! Riot Gaming, equalizing! What? I blinked and I miss it!
Yeah, I mean, this one rolled in pretty slowly as well, but it didn't quite matter this time. Ground Zero just all pushing very forward, and Kaka making the most of it.
Kaka indeed making the most of it, and that's what we've been looking for from Riot Gaming here, is capitalization upon those little plays, those little mistakes. Ground Zero are not going to make a lot of mistakes against you, so when they do, you really have to make the most of them. Props to Riot Gaming. They've done that here in Game 5. Now let's see if they can continue to do so and force the series to continue. Ooh, not quite, though. Finn out at midfield, dusted, and now it's going to go the other way. Amphis wanted a follow-up, no such luck. Instead, it's Kaka. Gonna try and take this one slowly. Should be able to set up, I was gonna say Finn there. Tango decides to go cross court on that one, and oh boy, Riot, listen, I do appreciate your aggressiveness. I think it's a great idea.
Ooh, nice
Definitely
touch.
still need to hold on to some organization. Oh, come on, no way.
Oh, you can see the mechanics on these guys. They're pretty awesome. I just wish they could hit the ball harder to finish these chances.
I just wish that we could get one offense from Riot that
There we go. He hit it
disorganized.
hard.
There it is. Tango finally gets the goal.
You can see he finally hit it hard. Caught Dawson's off guard, maybe not ready for it, and follows it super quickly to kind of swing this game. Riot Gaming now in the lead.
Finally, we see Riot Gaming get some offensive efficiency. I was hoping that they might just bang that one on target at mock speeds, but not quite. I'll take the double touch, though. It was pretty, it looked nice, and it looks like Riot Gaming are back into the series and back into this game. Oh boy, this is a little bit nerve-wracking, though. Express almost able to slot one in, but instead it's Amphis out on the side. We'll try and just continue the offense here, and Ground Zero do not look like they're going to back down whatsoever. I would be surprised if they started to just kind of concede this one and say, all right, let's go to game number 6. They want to finish this one off in 5. They do not want to even give the chance to Riot to take this.
Yeah, I mean, you can never give up a game with only one goal. Things can change so quickly in Rocket League, but Riot Gaming parachuting very well. Ground Zero really starting to scramble in their defense now.
That's a big thing about this, is that Ground Zero actually look vulnerable in defense. Not many teams, if any teams, can make them look vulnerable, and there's another minor mistake and then a double commitment. I mean, Ground Zero don't get punished from it, but it goes to show you, Riot are really putting on the pressure. Most teams are not going to make Ground Zero scramble like that.
No, Ground Zero, they really look like they're on the back foot, and I'm expecting them to push forward. Here's a really nice dribble from Amphis, actually flicks it really nicely, but can't quite follow it up.
Not quite yet here, so unfortunately, Ground Zero now going to have to endure another offense. Okay, wait, where did Express...
Yeah, he was just
correct me if I'm
perfectly
wrong.
hidden.
Where was Express?
Yeah, I just thought it was open there for a second. Express coming out of nowhere, catching us by surprise, and, good for them. Almost kept them from going 2-0 down, but Tango on the counter-attack extends their lead.
This is probably one of the most head-scratching games I've had in a while. This one's got me rather confused. It's going end-to-end. Riot's doing a great job, but at a certain point, I kind of want to say GG go next, just so that my brain can wrap itself around this game again. So far here, it's been a chaotic series, but it's a chaotic series that is starting to go back in favor of Riot Gaming, and that's crucial for them. They need to have favor, because like we said earlier, it's not just about beating Ground Zero, it's about doing so with some dominance.
Yeah, so Ground Zero, it's gotten out of their favor now. It's just, again, it's painful for Riot Gaming. They could even be 3-2 up in the lead now if they took out those games with a bit better finishing. So Riot Gaming starting off, what do you call it, a gentleman's reverse sweep? Yeah, they're on their way. They're looking good.
Yeah, gentleman's reverse sweep, something I got taught after, I think it was that happened in a best of 7 grand final that was also a bracket reset. Luckily enough for these teams, they don't have to do that. Riot Gaming, all they have to do now is take another 2 games and they'll take the series. But again, still not an easy task, especially against a team like Ground Zero.
Yeah, Ground Zero, so it's still surprising they only scored 1 goal there. They had plenty of chances, but Riot Gaming actually dominating the shots and keeping them in their half.
And that's something we haven't really seen. Riot Gaming, I don't think for a single game in the series has been able to have the dominant amount of shots. Even for the one that they won previous to this game, it didn't feel like they were in the dominant amount of shots. But, hey, if you're efficient with your shots, it's fine. And that's what we saw here. Riot Gaming, way more efficient on offense.
Yeah, this was a great comeback as well. Ground Zero, they started off the scoring. They did get immediately equalized with that kickoff goal, but still, you back Ground Zero to win pretty much any game they open the scoring in. So Riot Gaming keeping it close and making it interesting for us.
100%. And at this point, we're finally seeing the full potential of both these teams, it kind of feels like. Ground Zero, a couple of occasional issues on the back end here. You can see that from the double commitment and the weird defense that they have. But aside from the little bit of awkward defense here, Ground Zero are starting to look like Ground Zero. And similarly, Riot starting to look like Riot. Lockdown defense, good offense that turns into uber aggression. So I think we're finally going to see a real back and forth here, Jake. I'm hoping that this Game 6 is going to be a banger.
Yeah, well, I think Riot as well. We talked about Ground Zero kind of maturing through the series, but Riot Gaming, they're hitting better shots, they're keeping better pressure, and just the skill of both these teams is definitely rising as they get more warmed up. Actually, Riot Gaming gonna open this one.
It's a little bit unfortunate, though. You're talking about the skill going up for both these teams. We got a miss out of Torsos, the demo immediately afterwards, and Amphis, unfortunately, not quite able to recover in time. So, again, Ground Zero looking really good once they get out of their defensive third.
And Ground Zero, it's not where you expect them to let off that goal, especially Torsos, normally so consistent in defense. Is it going to go the other way? No, Finn actually recovers, and Riot Gaming keep their lead.
There we go. Riot Gaming starting to show that they have a double-edged sword here. They can play well on defense, they can play well on offense, but can they do it for a full 5 minutes? We're gonna have to find out. Game 6, the lead is in favor of Riot Gaming, but Ground Zero is pressing the issue. Torsos trying to dish this out to one of his teammates, but not really able to connect. Express just has to kind of go up for this one to just keep some contest on it. So instead, it's Amphis on the back end after a booming clear who will try and restart the offense once again for Ground Zero. You get the flip reset. No, not quite. Oh, it tries to do so, but I like it. Ground Zero at least getting a little bit more creative with their offense.
Yeah, Ground Zero, again, just so creative, so mechanical. You can see Amphis flip resetting, air dribbling, but Riot Gaming, they're great at that as well. They're defending it pretty comfortably and getting these fast counterattacks now. That's a great dunk from Kaka, and that's a speedy follow-up from Tango. That's what they've been missing, and now they're 2-0 up.
And there we go, Riot Gaming. Fantastic play all around. Look at Tango, dusts both Express and Amphis to that ball. There's very few players in the region that can dust a player on Ground Zero, let alone 2 of them at once.
And Torsos, you can see him in the camera, he's starting to get a bit hyped up. He does not like losing, and I'm sure they were being very confident, and now it's starting to slip away from them this series. They need to wake up and get some goals quick.
Oh my word, and you can see the demo play starting to become rather prevalent. And you want to know something else rather prevalent? It's this Tango offense. Riot Gaming starting to find their star-studded striker, and it's in the player that normally is pretty defensive.
Yeah, Tango having a big series now, stepping up, playing fast, and it's just catching Ground Zero off guard. They're too slow back, they're getting demoed, and 3 goals in a minute and a half. You do not normally see that.
I cannot believe I just heard you utter that phrase. Ground Zero too slow on the back.
Yep.
What on earth kind of game are we watching where Ground Zero is getting outpaced? I mean, hey, listen, if anyone's going to do it, it's the Dark Horse. We've been talking about this all day. Riot Gaming are the team that scare pretty much every single team in this nation because of the fact that they are so incredibly good, and when they do peak, they're nearly impossible to stop. So, Ground Zero, you're facing your worst nightmare right now. Riot are in form, and they're playing phenomenally.
Yeah, and it feels like Ground Zero haven't really had time to reset either. It's felt very scrappy after that 3rd goal. This is the first time Ground Zero have really had a chance, but Riot Gaming just neutralizing it. But the follow-up is good from Ground Zero. You can see they're playing aggressively, but that 3rd man, you'd normally expect him to be there, but he was just a bit too patient, sitting back.
A little bit too patient, and that's, again, really surprising from Ground Zero. They're a slow burn team for sure, but when they need to turn on the Jets, they do a great job at that. So maybe it's just a little bit of lack of confidence here. We saw this earlier. Riot Gaming, once they found their momentum, they really ran with it, and Ground Zero the same. So now that Ground Zero doesn't have that momentum, maybe they're not quite able to stay as comfortable as usual. I'd have to imagine that, well, I mean, it's almost guaranteed. They lose this one, they're going to take that tactical timeout, right? Just to try and, reset themselves, talk to a coach.
I mean, going into Game 7 after losing 2 in a row, that would be so difficult. Ground Zero, they got to have their heads in the game. They want to win this, but it's certainly not looking like it. Riot Gaming playing so fast and so confidently.
That's a big thing here is, again, that confidence. We continue to emphasize it. That's one way to get your confidence back. Amphis, what a double touch.
Yeah, and again, this is just the ground zero. You just can't stop them from scoring crazy goals. So fast, so beautifully placed, and beats all the goalkeepers in net.
And now all of a sudden, ground zero, you do actually have a chance to finish this one off in 6. It's 2 minutes remaining. You are down by 2, which is definitely not the greatest place to be, but it's now possible. You finally found that goal. You finally found that spark of life, and maybe now it can give you the momentum necessary to take the comeback victory. Amphis going to try and do that exactly here, 50-50 against Finn. It's up to Torsos to try and continue this offense here. Popped out to the side where Express is waiting. Amphis will be there as well, but slow burn out of ground zero. They don't have a lot of time to waste. They got to start ripping off shots.
Yeah, ground zero, minute and a half, only 2 goals, and you expect them, that's really not out of their reach, especially with Amphis playing like this, just playing so aggressively and trying to carry his team to not have to go to game 7.
Amphis putting the team on their back right now, continuing with the aggression. We were hoping for it, and there's how you deliver. And you can see it in the face cams as well. Torsaw starting to light up as well. When that player starts getting happy, that's a dangerous thing for whoever they are playing. So ground zero now on the verge of that comeback. Riot Gaming had a 3-0 lead in this game. Now it's 2-3, and I gotta imagine Riot are pretty nervous.
Yeah, Riot Gaming actually looking pretty frustrated. That was a pretty soft goal. Amphis just completely outplaying them, and Riot Gaming just not clearing it the way they needed to. So they're gonna be a bit annoyed, but Finn with a beautiful flip reset to score and extend that lead back to 2.
All right, well, there's one way to kill the momentum. Riot Gaming, what on earth? More specifically, Finn, what on good God? What? How do you even hit that, man, or think to hit that?
I told you, man, he looked a little cranky, decided he needed to hit something nutty, and pulls out that to put them in the lead again. And ground zero, the time is ticking. They have great offense, but a minute, the time is really running low.
Time is running extremely low, and here's the crazy thing about this is that if they lose this one, I would dare say they are not in favor to take this entire series. At that point, it would be, what, 2 games in a row for Riot Gaming, and they would look to take a 3rd? I'd be surprised if they didn't. Ground zero look pretty solid right now, but the big thing is that their defense is not backing up their offense. Gaps in the back have been exploited, and this is what we were asking Riot to do the entire series.
Yeah, play fast. Amphis just not expecting that for a second, and I don't blame him. The pace has shifted. Riot Gaming just playing like a completely new team, so fast, outplaying ground zero, and yeah, it's looking dangerous going into that game 7.
I'm so excited for this Game 7, though. All that really means is that we're going to have a fantastic back and forth. And, I mean, listen, we expected this series to be pretty close. When it started off with a little bit of awkwardness out of both teams, we got kind of nervous that maybe ground zero would return to form and Riot wouldn't be able to catch up with them. Riot Gaming proving, I would say, myself wrong 100% here. I definitely did not expect this one to get to that 7th game after the start, but they're doing a great job at adjusting. They're doing a great job at adapting, and again, that's something we expect out of ground zero. For Riot Gaming to do it, very impressive.
Well, Riot Gaming have been getting better the entire tournament. Like, they barely scraped into the top 8, only getting through the round of 5. They had that rematch in the quarters showing that they were improving, pretty comfortably winning there 4-2, and now we have them honestly almost favored in this game 7 to beat ground zero, but ground zero, they're so clutch under pressure that even though it feels like all the momentum is going to Riot, I think it's hard to say, like, to pick a winner in this game 7.
Oh, 100%. This one feels like a coin toss at this point because, I mean, Riot Gaming, listen, you got to give them the credit where it's due. They've now forced the Game 7 that most people did not think was possible, and they're doing so with pretty dominant fashion. 5 goals, I believe, is the most goals we've seen out of either team in this series, and they do so with not as many shots as you would expect. 12 total shots for 5 goals. That's a pretty high shooting percentage.
Yeah, and we'll see. Do ground zero end up taking that tactical timeout? They're not used to taking them fast. I don't think we've really seen them take them much at all. So definitely not a situation they're used to being in. And I'm not even positive what ground zero should really change. It really feels like Riot Gaming have really stepped up rather than ground zero playing worse.
100%. It does not feel like ground zero are necessarily leaving that many gaps. Again, against most teams, you leave a, 0.001% of your backboard open, it's not going to matter much. Against Riot Gaming, apparently it does. They have figured out a way to exploit this defense like no other. And unfortunately for Ground Zero, despite the fact that their offense really is looking solid, it kind of are these late game surges every time. I mean, look, it was 2-3 with a minute left, and then it finished off at 2-5. So it's one of these things where they can't keep relying on these late game attempts because eventually Riot are going to figure it out and then do the same, like you see here. Shooting on target, keeping the pressure up, never relenting. And this is what makes them so threatening. So, Jake, I'm interested in your thoughts. I know you said it's going to be pretty hard to pinpoint, but if you had to give one piece of advice to Ground Zero right now in order to try and turn this one around, what is it?
Honestly, they've been letting a lot of chances by just being too slow in defense. We saw Express earlier getting outpaced. I saw it a bit yesterday as well. Amphis in that game there, like Tango getting outpaced. And we were saying this whole series, wow, if Riot were a little faster, they would have so many goals on the board. And now they're a little bit faster, and now they're getting the goals on the board. So we know Ground Zero, they're fast. They're not mechanically, they know how to read the ball and get there quick in defense. So I think they really just need to wake up and stop giving Riot Gaming those semi-chances.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is just giving them a chance is how you start off that offense, how you get that rhythm for Riot that they've been looking for. I'd agree with you 100%. Upping the pace of play is going to be huge here, and, well, it's time for them to do exactly that. Game 7, we're back on Champions Field here. It's been quite a while since we got, but it is now do or die. Both of these teams going to battle this one out. The question is who comes out on top, because, I mean, listen, the fact of the matter is, Ground Zero are not supposed to be here. They were supposed to have finished this one off in 5. Riot Gaming have impressed us all. Let's see if they can do it again.
Yeah, look, everything is favoring Riot Gaming right now, but Ground Zero, they have so much more experience in these Game 7s, in these really important moments, and Riot Gaming, eyes on them. Can they keep up this fast playstyle that is difficult to do when it really matters in this final Game 7?
We're gonna have to find out. 40 seconds into this one, and so far it is Ground Zero in. Riot without a goal. Amphis trying to slot one in out of nowhere, but not quite able to do so. Ground Zero pressing the issue, and I gotta say, they get an early goal here. It is massive for their momentum, Jake.
Yeah, I'd honestly back Torsos to score that most of the time. Maybe Express there as well. Riot Gaming making these small defensive mistakes, but Ground Zero a bit uncharacteristically letting them get away with it.
Oh my word, that's a bit surprising. And oh, there's another surprise in the corner. We got a Rule 1, and both the players are going to abide by it. No, they're not. I don't know who broke it, but there's the end of it. And how dare you?
You like watching 2v2s as well?
I like watching 2v2s. I like watching Rule 1 get respected. I mean, that's kind of the main thing there. But, hey, it is what it is. Maybe it'll come back to bite whatever team broke out of that one. Let's just say that. Whoever loses it is the team that broke out of that. Karma.
Yeah, we'll have to get the instant replay on that one. Ooh, Finn almost with a crazy goal to follow up from last game. He doesn't quite get it, and you can feel the tension growing already between these two teams.
And you can feel the tension. It is absolutely intense back and forth here. Both of them throwing everything they've got at their offenses. Unfortunately, it hasn't really resulted in much. It's resulted in a beautiful shot from Finn that's going to ring off the post. That could have been the decider, Jake.
Yeah, I think Riot Gaming, they've had so many reasons to kick themselves, but it just goes to show just how great they've been at creating those chances. But God, if they don't win this, you might be thinking about that tonight.
It's a little bit unfortunate. You got to hope that they're not necessarily kicking themselves over that, because now is not the time to take themselves out of it mentally. They've got to keep that mental fortitude, stick with this one, and give themselves the best chance possible here, because we're halfway through the game and still neither team has scored. Oh, that could change right here. No, 2 shots inaccurate in a row, but at least Torsos is there to clean up the pieces. 1-0, Ground Zero strike first.
And again, just so clutch from Ground Zero. They're just playing so quickly, making Riot Gaming panic, and that's the difference. Riot Gaming, they had their chance on the other side of the field. They messed it up. Ground Zero, they didn't.
That's the big thing here, is that we're starting to see that capitalization and the mistakes on the back end. Riot Gaming were able to take the lead in the last couple games because of that. Ground Zero show how to do it again, though, in game number 7. Now it's up to Riot Gaming to try and equalize and just force an overtime. They've got over 2 minutes of play. Plenty of time to do so, but they also don't want to let Ground Zero start getting some momentum here. If Ground Zero start popping off like we know Ground Zero can, it's over for Riot.
Yeah, and Riot Gaming kind of falling apart a little bit, starting to lose confidence on these challenges, just getting beat. And Ground Zero, they play their best under pressure, just playing so fast. And Riot Gaming, they got to bring out that special speed, special mechanics to just get this comeback. There's not much time left.
Yeah, we've seen them have these late game surges before. Last game, they were up 2-3 and then managed to score 2 within the last minute here, but they were also in the lead last time, meaning they had extra confidence. Now, they've got to try and find that confidence from pretty much nothing. There's less than 2 minutes remaining. They are looking at the edge of elimination here. I'd still got to compliment both teams. This was such a fantastic series that really, we did not expect to stay this close.
No, and I mean, it could get even closer. There's still 1:40 left. If Riot score, it's going to make it a very nervous end. And here it actually be, it pitches out to the middle, and Kaka gets that goal they needed.
A little bit of a weird way to find a goal, but it's a goal nonetheless, and Riot will absolutely take it. Pinch from the side there, and Kaka slams that one home. Now it's up to Riot. They've got 90 seconds left on the clock here. All they need is one goal, and they can force an overtime. Similarly, though, Ground Zero, all you need is one goal, and you might just be able to secure yourselves this game. Ooh, you're trying to do so already. Amphis looking for an angle out of the corner, but not quite successful.
Yeah, there's Ground Zero's fake kickoff again. It just shows how confident they are even in these big clutch moments. And Riot Gaming, they're pushing forward. They're really upping the speed, and they were looking a little nervous in the middle of this game, but I think they realize now they need to pressure Ground Zero and play fast to get this goal.
And you can understand why the nerves are here. They're not only a game away from elimination, but it's Championship Sunday. The winner of this one moves on to that grand championship. And not only do I think they double themselves their money, but they also give themselves a ton more points. Like Yumi was highlighting earlier, 50 points per win at this moment, which is why this is all the more important. Riot Gaming seem to know that. They are pressing the issue here, looking for that second goal. And with 45 seconds left, they need to find it. Not a lot of chances, but a good 50-50 out of midfield will allow Tango to rip off a shot, but for Express to save it as well. Ground Zero clutching up when it counts.
Yeah, but he still sets it up nicely, but no, actually Ground Zero, they get the big clear, and that really could have been it, and Torsos actually puts it in on the other side, and that might just be the nail for Riot Gaming.
Oh, that's a bit unfortunate there. Tango, one of those star-studded defenders that everybody has been mentioning in the region. But when it counts the most, unfortunately, just the littlest error is enough to have Ground Zero slip around you. 26 seconds left. There is a chance here. It is extremely slim, and that's putting it mildly. But Riot Gaming, now it's time to show what you're made of.
Yeah, and then
oh my,
that's gonna do it. Torsos, you can see how relieved he is there, and really well played here from Torsos at the end. Ground Zero again, they clutch up in these game 7 moments, and he looks so tired. I hope he gets a good rest before the finals.
Oh my word, I'm making us look a little bit of a fool for even thinking that Riot could take this one in the 7th. I mean, they're the Kings of OC for a reason. When it's time for them to clutch up, they do exactly that. Ground Zero gonna take game number 7 here in pretty convincing fashion. They're up 4-1. Let's see if they can slot one more in before the end of it. Oh, no way, they are. Are you kidding me? What?
Just a little bit of padding the stats, you know. Amph is getting that interesting touch. Torsos was actually getting a beautiful assist. I guess that's why he's laughing about it. And yeah, Ground Zero, very well played in this game 7. It's what really helped them dominate. And Riot Gaming, just an excellent performance overall.
Oh yeah, fantastic performance out of Riot. Again, for a team that looked like they might have gone out in 5 here to pull it back to 7, nothing but congratulations to them and a really, really good pat on your back for what you have done here. But at the end of the day, there can only be one winner, and that is Ground Zero. Ground Zero have taken it in 7, and you can see the frustration on Torsos's face. He is exhausted, but he's got to be happy because they're moving on to the grand finals.
Yeah, Amphis looking a little frustrated as well. Again, I think these guys, they're definitely used to winning, right? And used to winning pretty easily by their standards. So that was very close, going all the way to game 7. And Ground Zero, well played though. Really solid performance in that final game.
Yeah, very solid performance to finish that one off. Overall, just really nice to see out of Ground Zero, just sort of refinding their form. Yummy, listen, it sounded like chaos and it felt like chaos from us in the booth. From the outside perspective, was that just as chaotic?
Well, game 3 was certainly very chaotic, and the fact that it went all the way to 7 is insane. It looks like Amphis was the one that broke the rule 1 in this game, and honestly, I would have hated if they stuck to the rule one in a game 7 where every chip is on the line.
Yummy, same.
You want to have them all go for
It's this American influence, I think.
Yeah. I can admit it. Listen, the rule one's got a sacred sort of thing in America, but also at the same time, I can respect it. When money's on the line and it is this important of a game, sometimes you just got to break out of it.
It's not even just money, it is Worlds, and you can see how excited Torsos was. The implications of this match, it would have really opened up OC incredibly wide if Riot Gaming took the win. It would have very likely made a much easier run for Renegades in the grand final if Riot took the win, and it would have given opportunities to every other team if Riot took the win. And that's why game 3 was so insane, because Kaka missed 3 wide open nets. It seemed so panicky. And I feel like that really had ramifications on game number 4. Yep. They didn't recover there either. And yeah, you can't give Ground Zero a game 7.
No, that was Riot Gaming. That was really their series to win. They didn't have those mechanics. They didn't have that clinicalness in the start of the series. They really stepped up at the end. That's the best I've seen them play, but it was just too late. Ground Zero was just too good in game 7.
They're too good, and part of the reason is Express, who's provided a lot of consistency. Winning Season 9, winning Season 10, and now Express. I'm sure you're proud to be here in Season 21-22 in the first Grand Finals, right?
Yeah, no, happy we got here. It's been a bit of a tough run. I don't think we've played sort of anywhere near our best Rocket League yet, so we'll probably need to, I think, if we're going to beat Renegades in the final.
When we look at that game number 3, right, and the sigh of relief from all 3 of you, the laughs as well when Kaka missed in front of the net, and that was his 3rd one in that game. What were you guys thinking after that?
Normally when that kind of thing happens, you tend to win the game. It's just one of those things where I don't know. It's when someone misses that sort of some open nets, it sort of just, you just hope that they're feeling it. They I guess sort of recognize that they sort of missed those open nets, and hopefully it might just distract them a bit from playing their best Rocket League. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it took a couple of games for you guys to finally get your best Rocket League out there, but I would say it was the same thing for Riot. It was kind of a slow burn of both of you guys having those adaptations and really getting to your peak form. Now that you have seen Riot in their peak form and you face them in an RLCS environment, are you just as sort of threatened by them as before? Because before the season started, you guys all did those videos. Literally everyone mentioned how Riot was the underdogs here in those Dark Horse team. They look threatening. Are you guys sort of aware and more, I would say, threatened by them now that they've given you a game 7?
Yeah, I mean, we've been very aware of them. We've been scrimming them a lot, and obviously seeing how good they can be in scrims, as well as watching them playing the off-season tournaments as well. So no, they're definitely coming on as a really strong team, and not surprised that it was a very tough game.
Now, Express, I was talking to Tors, and he promised me some flame because I was pretty keen to hear about what's going on with this Renegades beef and the lack of scrimming. I'm certainly interested, and yeah, what's going on there? Are you excited to play them for the first time in a few months?
Yeah, no, it's been ages. So I think we didn't really realize this at the time, but we didn't scrim them. We decided to not scrim them leading up to that major in Split 3 of last season, and yeah, I think they've sort of responded with not wanting to scrim us through the entire off season. So it's been probably a good 4 or 5 months now of not scrimming them not playing them at all. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be lots of adapting and learning how they play in the next series.
Do you think that after watching them earlier on, that they are going to be a huge threat to you guys?
I wasn't really watching, to be honest. We were scrimming, we were warming up, so we'll go in there a bit blind, but we'll have fun. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. Well, you'll have plenty of time to adapt, and you'll have plenty of time to have a bit of a break here, because I'm sure that was a nerve-wrenching series. Good luck in the grand finals.
Cheers. Thanks.
And thanks to Express as well for coming on for the interview. But I do have to go back as well to Riot Gaming, and yeah, this was a tough series for them. Yeah, they proved that they could go to a game 7, but this was their first ever top 4. For Kaka and Finn, their first ever top 4 of all time. I think their second ever top 8. And for Tango, his second ever top 4 of all time. And they started off looking nervous. Game 3 looked nervous. And the fact that they keep rallying and playing so confidently later on is massive signs that we are going to see a lot more success from them.
I would imagine so. I really do think that this team is just going to continue to improve every time that we see them in a regional like this. And again, it's sort of that cracking into that top 4 area, and that they were starting to get in there and solidify themselves. Now, after this performance, I'd be kind of scared if I was any team in the region, including Direwolves, who, again, we kind of had them at that 3rd or 4th seed. Now, I'm starting to lean more towards Riot. They've really impressed me today.
Yeah, I think Riot proved a lot today. We've seen them play very well against, those middling teams, but Ground Zero not really showing up in the off-season. Renegades beating them twice in the gauntlet just recently. I think today really showed that they're a serious threat for that top 2. And you're right, Yummy, they looked nervous, and I still feel like that was Riot Gaming's series to win.
It'll be interesting to see how Riot Gaming go from here, but we have to say goodbye to them, and we'll be coming up next with the grand final.